Make a Path presents Let's Talk. Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name is Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk predictions for 510. Alright, Deadheads, and before we get into the predictions, there's something I just want to let you know. If you guys notice, I'm not as active on the weekends on social media as I usually am. I'm going to kind of try to limit my exposure until I can work out some things. And the problem is spoilers. There's a lot of spoilers that seem to flood social media the weekend that the Walking Dead episode airs. You know, the day or two before it airs because of early screenings, reviews, and things like that. And the reason why I want to avoid that is because I want to keep the prediction videos as authentic and legitimate as possible. It makes absolutely zero sense for me to cover spoilers and then make predictions, and then it makes zero sense to do reaction videos, because how do you have a legitimate reaction if you already know the spoilers? So it's either cover spoilers and drop the prediction and reaction videos, which are two of my most active content on this channel in the comments and in the views. Or I could just simply drop the spoilers. For me, it's a win-win. I am not into that. If you are into that, I'm not mad at you. You know what I mean? If you have spoilers, if you talk about spoilers, simply tag it. That's fine. It's so easy when I'm scrolling down the comments. If I see spoiler in bold letters, I know to just skip whatever that person says and move on to something else. If you also want to go ahead and put comic spoilers or just TV spoilers, I mean, it takes 2 seconds and it's freaking awesome, and it makes everyone happy. I personally just want to distance myself from the spoilers, and I think you, the viewers, would want me to keep the prediction videos and reaction videos as authentic as possible. Am I wrong? Now let's get into this. Now, I think it's pretty safe to assume that our group is going to be traveling early on in the next episode. It looks like they're getting to things, like pace-wise, it's still pretty quick. I get the feel that we're going to have another like mini time skip. Maybe it's only been a few days since Tyrese passed. And they're going to be on foot. We saw Maggie. She looked like she was walking past a car and just happened to peek inside the car to see if there's anything of use. It is still possible that Maggie might hang herself. She does make a comment to Sasha, and it's nice seeing them together. I think that is nice, having those the two females who can kind of mourn together in a way. They're doing it in two different ways, though, because Maggie says, I wonder how long we've got, and Sasha says, oh, we're 60 miles out or something like that. And Maggie was like, that's not what I was talking about. And I believe, given it was only a little clip, but I believe that she's talking about dying or getting killed. Right now in the story, they're beating this group down. Now, maybe they do stop and rest. And I know that everyone under the sun have told me those are dogs, not wolves, in the trailer. And yeah, sure, they look like dogs. I'm still holding out hope we're going to see wolves. But I get it. Yeah, they're dogs. And again, I have no problem with being wrong, so that's another reason why I don't need the spoilers. I'll stick with just predictions. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm still going to do my best to try to get it, as accurate as possible. Now, I'm still holding out hope that we'll see wolves. I still kind of have a little feeling there. And I'm a little iffy on this whole wolves and W in the forehead thing. However, I'm not going to touch on that in this episode because I do not believe it's going to come up in the next episode of The Walking Dead. I think that's something for later on this season. So yeah, we get dogs, and it's safe to assume that they eat one. Maybe Daryl shoots a dog and they eat it, because they did show, I believe it was Daryl who got on his knees, and it looked like it was a dead deer body there, so maybe he's just worn out, fed up, beaten down, and that was when he just gives up on finding food and he kneels down before a deer. It's unlikely that the dogs, I feel at least, would be Aaron, for example, because keep in mind, we're waiting for Aaron any day now. Aaron is coming any day now. That's for sure. A lot of people are saying episode 11, and I think that's very accurate. I've said in the past that episode 11 is most likely, I'm hoping, their trip to Alexandria. So I'm really hoping our cliffhanger for episode 10 is finding Aaron in the end of the episode. I mean, it sounds hard to match up right now, but I'm holding out hope that we see Eren, like actually meet him and get introduced to this character in this episode. And I know it seems early, but that would be pretty cool. And it would fit in with the fast pace. And we could tell that when they're getting in the barn, it is daytime. Carol's wet, Maggie's wet, Rick looks wet also, so it starts to rain when they find the barn. It is daytime, so I'm guessing they get in there during the day, scope it out, they make a fire to dry off, because we saw the fire in the trailer. So they're drying off, Rick is giving some kind of speech, Glenn is in the gutter because we've seen how he's getting hardened. He can't even fix Maggie or help Maggie right now. Some people are sleeping, Sasha's in the back doing her own thing. It looks like you could barely see her. And then, like I said before, I'm still sticking with my old ass prediction that Daryl walks up because of the wind is banging the barn doors, and he looks out and we have a walkers oh shit moment. They all yell and come and grab the doors, and they're sliding now. We did see in the new trailer, the new image, their feet are sliding in the mud. They can't hold the doors shut, and this is where they come up with a plan to distract them and lead the walkers away. Now, like I said, in the other previews we saw a lot of Glenn, Michonne, and Rick at nighttime, so I'm thinking that those three lead those walkers aside. And you guys know this because this is my old prediction from a while ago, and I'm sticking with that. I still think that is a great prediction, or at least logical. You know, it's reasonable to assume they would try to lure him away. Here's where I have my problem, and here's where I'm asking you guys, any ideas? Because this is what I'm stumped on. If they do break down with their vehicle and they go on foot and they find the barn on foot, they lead the herd away on foot, where do they get the car? Where does the car come from? Unless they did find a car and they were driving, that wouldn't make sense, because then if they had a car and they were driving, they all can't fit in it. And the rain, they don't need to hide in the barn if they have vehicles. So yes, they don't have any vehicles, they hide in the barn, they make a fire to dry off, then they lead the herd away out in the rain and in the storm or whatever. We see Glenn out in the storm, and then Michonne and Rick. Where do they get that white car that they plow through the herd? Where does that come from? I doubt they would take Eren's car. I don't know. Is that, maybe that's when they find Eren and take his car? I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, again, if you know, if you have spoilers and inside information, which I don't think anyone knows, but if you do, don't worry about it. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for any ideas, any speculation. Go ahead and leave that down below, because I don't know. I have no clue. Now, there is one more image we saw in the daytime, and Rick was walking past people and everyone was looking at him as if they were waiting to see what he would do. I don't believe that's when they first get in there, because everyone doesn't look wet. Like when they get into the barn in the daytime, Maggie looks kind of wet. Carol's soaked, you know what I mean? But at that scene, the other people don't look wet. They don't look like they just came in from the rain. So I was actually thinking that that was Rick and them finding Eren. And maybe they have Eren tied up in the barn, and Rick talks to his people, and then he walks away to go talk to Eren, and everyone is looking at Rick. Now, I don't know if this is going to go from 10 to 11, because this is a lot of stuff to... They're traveling, they find dogs or wolves, they hide in a barn, they fight off a herd, and then they leave, and the trees are all down after the storm. That's a lot to pack into episode 10, so some of that might be for episode 11. So that is a possibility. Guys, let me know down below what you're thinking, because that is all I have. And don't forget to use the spoiler tags. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.